in a situation of social conflict. That takes a lot of strength. So we have to look at the individual and the social in connection, I think. The individual is often shaped very much by the social, and we can't expect a person to be peaceful and nonviolent if they're constantly bombarded by violence and social conflict. So somehow, especially if you're working in psychology, I think you would understand that. Sorry?
Intrapersonal peace.
Interpersonal, exactly.
Intrapersonal peace only gives the interpersonal relationship.
Right. Another area where that's very interesting, there's a French philosopher who's written about the way we imitate each other. So we learn by imitation, human beings. That's our primary way of learning. We think it's by reading books, but really it's by we watch how other people act and then we imitate, right? Children do that with adults. So he says that a lot of the violence in our society is learned by imitation. So we see violence modeled, and then in order to survive, we have to act violently. So in a social context, you give permission or you give encouragement for people to be violent. Then the problem is, how do you change that? How do you create a group or a community where people are given permission to be good, where they're given permission to be nonviolent, where they're given permission to be peaceful? So that's the kind of thing you can do in this kind of institute. You create a space where nonviolence is valued over violence, where cooperation is valued over competition, right? But you're a very small group, and out there, violence is valued over nonviolence, competition is valued over cooperation. So you have to be very strong to hold your values here in place. Do you know what I mean? No? I should say more. You're the puzzle. Each group creates a kind of culture of what values they hold as important, right? So in an institute like this, you hold the values of peacefulness and nonviolence and cooperation as the most important values. But you're a small group living in a society where other values are held as more important. So it's very important that you be strong enough to sustain those values, that you give encouragement to each other to sustain those values of peacefulness. So I think community, building community and maintaining community is a very important part of nonviolence. When Gandhi had his ashrams, they were communities of nonviolence. That was why that was so important, I think. Yeah? We tend in the West to become more fragmented. We're individuals and not so much a part of a community. And I'm seeing that a little bit more in India too, especially in the cities. You see people think of themselves more as individuals, not as so connected to their families or their communities. And that's modernization. That's one aspect of it. So maintaining community is a very important thing.
Family system also in India, because of course we are joint family system.
Right.
They are maintaining the cooperation and the peaceful life.
Yeah.
But recently, nuclear family system are developed because of the migrations of from the cities, for jobs. So that's when the gap between the families.
Yes.
It's also one of the reasons to create some more peacelessness.
Yes.
Individual peacelessness. That there is no moral support, or there is no support, the family support. So that's why there is one of the reasons. Nowadays the children are living in a nuclear family system.
Right.
So they don't have to share the problem with the elders, the family. So automatically, what you say, the learning from the society. So everything's learned by the child. Because the new nuclear system family system, the children, they don't know how to mingle with others. Because the media is one of the reasons. The violent picture, while the immorality of the pictures. Everyone, the children seeing from the childhood, it's also developed some violent nature within, especially the young, before the adolescent period of the child. That's a learning from the society, so one of the media also one of the reasons. Children, most of alone at home.
Yes.
That's the only way the regression said, only the movie, something.
Right.
That's somehow one of the reasons to develop the individual violent nature.
Right. And I think technology makes us, also isolates us and makes us more individual.
Technology, through technology we can use the positive or in negative way. But mostly negative things only attract the people. Yeah.
Right.
That's why.
So I think we have to think about education in a different way. You know, Gandhi thought of, he had this idea of Naitalam, but I think education has to be more holistic. It can't be just teaching ideas about Gandhi. It has to be living a different way. It has to be, that's what I mean by community.